really totally decided yet. I think what likely to do is have like the first class on campus at least to like make sure that's really easy for people to get there, and then think about what goes back and forth. I got a lot of mixed feedback. We got some different feedback verbally versus what we got from the survey. Anyone else? All right. We're holding up the class.
All right, fine. All right.
Let's see. All right, we're going to listen first. All right, so this is Bill. He's going to listen. We're going to just start off with pitches and then demos. I hope you guys have some great stuff to show this week. We got a lot of people that need to get their thumbs up. I was trying to be, pretty flexible last week. We gave out a whole bunch, I think 7 thumbs up last week. But I know a lot of people need more of them. And as much as like you can get a thumbs up next week, like I do not recommend leaving next week to be like your only shot to get a thumbs up. So with that, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna give you this mic. I have another mic. They're gonna get like about 2 minutes to little timer to give their pitch, and then we get to give them some quick feedback. The pitch may not actually exist yet. It might be an idea. So it's more about the concept. And with 2 minutes, they basically can usually either really pitch like what it is in the product to the customer, or they can kind of talk about the business model. They're probably not going to hit both those things. So just so you know what to expect. So awesome. All right, we're going to line up. Anyone's going to pitch? All right, ready to roll? Awesome. Glad to see lots of people lined up.
Hello everyone, my name is Yusuf. So my study place is usually PCL, the library, and I go there because it's quiet, not very crowded, and there are outlets available. And but my classes are not very close to the library, so I usually, between my classes, I usually have to walk to the PCL, unpack, barely have time to study, pack again, and go to my next class. And this gets even worse when I have to do, when there's an exam or an argument that's in the building that I have never been before. So it's not very efficient, it wastes my time. Also, I barely make it there on time. So one day, it's an exam day, and I go to an exam in a building that I've never been before. I go there in a hurry, out of breath, like right now, out of breath, and I see my friend there. He's just coming downstairs. And I tell him, well, did you just get here? I'm out of breath, stressing. And he's like, calm, no, I've been here studying. And I was like, there's a study room here? He said, yeah, I use study space to find a study room in this building. And then I was like, what's study space? He shows me an app, he opens the app, and shows me, well, this is the study app. He opens it, he enters the name of the building, and then all the study rooms pops up. And then there are study rooms rated from different metrics, how quiet it is, how crowded it is, how many outlets there are, or the availability. And then I was like, wow, that's so cool. And then since he had studied there for a few minutes ago, he makes his rating, and then he enters it. Also, he adds a quick private note for himself for future reference. And the next day, I use it between my classes. And there has been a study room up my classroom all along, and I haven't been using it. I used it, it was great. And no more rushing through between classes, and no more wasting time trying to find a study space. Thank you.
Better, it keeps getting better. I think at this point, it's as a pitch, it's probably as good as it's gonna get. And you need to put something real behind it. And you don't have to just build something to make it real. Things that would make this a lot better would be because I'm kind of left wondering at the end, okay, I kind of get it, but is this really a problem? Is this a big enough problem? Is this worth building an app for and keeping the study times up to date and all these other things? or you know, is it, you know, I'd be honest, like that's my biggest question. And so maybe that's a little bit more on the story too. But if you had said like, hey, like I've actually talked to this many people, and this is what I learned, or I tried this test, or things like that would help make it a lot more compelling.
Yeah, I felt it was very anecdotal. I don't know how many minutes are going to be saved, but I thought that if you had a bunch of people using this app, maybe finding a study partner, tutor, other services would be more powerful than just the amount of time saved.
Right.
So I think your idea is solving a problem, but I don't know how big that problem is, and I don't know if that's so what matters. But I think finding somebody who can tutor you or help you with this problem or whatever, that network that you're trying to build, I think that would be much more powerful.
I love that. Yeah, if you can make that interaction more valuable, it'd be better. So good job. Hand that off. Actually, take Bill's mic if you want to swap with him, since that one's a little crackly. We'll invite you guys that one. And hand that off. And as a reminder, because I haven't told Bill, this is a $100 bill.
Okay.
You get to pick. Yeah, it's hard to remember. Like you're gonna have to remember. You have to, one of them. You get to give a $100 bill for what you think was the best pitch tonight.
Got it.
Okay. Come on up.
So how many of y'all here have heard of a lehenga or a sari or some sort of Indian ethnic wear? Okay. So for those of you who didn't raise your hand, saris and lehengas are considered Indian ethnic wear. They're full of color, they're full of fabric and detail. And in many Asian countries, such as India, people don't usually buy those clothes off the rack. They actually get them handmade. So you pick the fabric, you pick a sort of lace, and then you find a tailor who will bring your vision to life. And it's a beautiful process, but it's very fragmented. And my friend Maya learned that the hard way. So she wanted a custom lehenga for her friend's wedding, and she could picture it perfectly in her mind. She wanted something with bold lace detailing, and she wanted something elegant, but something that still was her. But actually making it happen was a full-time job. First, she had to spend hours scrolling through Pinterest to find outfit inspo that spoke to her. And then she spent days hopping from one shop to another. First to buy some kind of fabric, and then to find matching lace, and then to get the fabric dyed. And then she had to hunt down a tailor who could actually bring it all together. And by the end of all of this, she dragged her entire butt home and she took a nap. And she was completely drained before she actually even had her outfit. But all that changed when she found out about Maya's Closet, which is a streamlined experience for custom clothing. So the next time Maya wanted an outfit made, everything changed. The app walked her through every step, like a smooth, creative journey. So first she browsed fabrics, and she picked lace and added details that she really loved. She even created a mood board to share her inspiration with her tailor. And with just a few taps, she was chatting directly with a verified tailor, sharing her sketches, and watching her vision come to life, all from her phone. So there was no more chaos, no more guessing, just a one-stop shop to bring her dream dress to life. And Maya's Closet doesn't have to be limited to India. Even here in the U.S., custom clothing feels like something that's limited to the elitist others, like influencers or celebrities. But it doesn't have to be. Imagine, rather than just picking up whatever is most popular at Windsor, being able to design your own prom dress, choosing the fabric and the design, and custom making it to match your story and your style. So what do you say? Why don't we make Maya's journey to get her dream dress more fun, personal, and completely painless?
We got to work on the clap. Good job. I'm gonna say similar feedback to the last one. Like you did a great job telling the story and like bringing us in and like making, especially for something I certainly personally am not that familiar with. Maybe even a little more than you needed. Like it was, you know, because like I got it. From the like turning it into like from a good like here's my pain point to like here's a good business opportunity. You know, to me this is a marketplace. You're connecting all these different independent, you know, clothing makers and other people and different people involved in the process. it's kind of very Etsy-like, you know, which was a good something to compare it to that we know has been really popular. And and I still don't really know, especially because I'm not familiar with that type of clothing, like how big is that market? And they even in your anecdotal like personal experience, which Bill, I know you mentioned this before, a lot of them we're starting with a very like give us a story, personal experience. Even in that, talking about rather than just like the next time she needed to do it, like using that to educate us about like, you know, it turns out she does that 4 times a year, and how and like you didn't mention like how much it costs, like how much does she spend doing that? You know, like those are all little details that are relevant to her story, but also really build up the business case. Where in my mind you're telling that I'm going like, oh, she spends like $2,000 4 times a year. Like, okay, now I'm, you know, like at least it starts to like add up.
Yeah, or even a line like her, like 100,000 other people are spending X hours, and we reduce it to Y hours, and giving the same quality, whatever, at lower price, whatever it is. Then people start paying attention. Cool.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, just the other day I was studying on Instagram Reels, and I saw a really interesting story about a 71-year-old woman named Beverly Morris who lived in Atlanta. And it was really interesting because just 1,000 feet away from her was a data center, and that had insane impacts on her well-being and her quality of life. For example, her sinks, the water pressure went down. If you looked at her washing machine, her toilets, the water pressure was low, and so she had to go outside just to get water for herself. And even when there was water, it was full with mud or sediments. It wasn't a great quality of life and had significant impact on her and her family. And the truth is, like, don't get me wrong, I think data centers are obviously very important, especially, you know, to power all this like AI wave and cloud computing. But just because energy infrastructure is important doesn't mean that we should rush it. I think it's important that we also consider the quality of life of citizens who live near those potential locations. And so that's why I decided to build Sitecore. It's a geospatial simulation platform that tells you exactly the impacts of the energy data centers that you build. So for example, if I have criteria as a company, I can see the impact that I'll have on water bills, energy costs, as well as the people who are living in that area. So that way, not only can I fit my criteria and build a data center to power my operations, but I'm also considering the quality of life and the well-being of people in that area. And I think that by doing so, you can move forward with a better society that still has the power, but is also considering people's welfare. And so that's Sitecore, building energy infrastructure one data center at a time. Thank you.
All right, that was a really good clap. Bill, this is right up your alley. I'll let you go first.
I get the input, you know, you're basically saying that you're a quality of life business, and so who is the ultimate customer? Is it the data center builder, or is it just the general public?
It'd be the data center builder.
The data center builder. And so that they would become more aware of what they're going to build. And it's always the same thing question I have is how many data center builders are, how many data centers are going to be there. Yeah.
So yeah, and as these pitches are evolving over the semester, you can see this probably becoming a common theme of like really starting to build up not just the use case, but a little bit, even as you talk about the use case, why is this a big opportunity? Why is it a big business? Right, good job. And Bill, just as a reminder, you should be keeping track of like who's your best so far. Exactly, King of the Hill.
Hey guys, my name's Tanner, and a few days ago I was sitting in my bed, I was scrolling on Tinder, and honestly I was just tired of it, you know. There was the few matches that I had, I couldn't really think of anything to say, and the whole thing was just kind of boring. And so I deleted it, and instead I went to the second best thing, Instagram. And I'm looking on my stories, and I see that my friend posted his Riz score. Well, that's stupid. So I click on it, and it brings me to this app called Loom, the mobile dating game. And I'm curious, so I create a profile, and the first thing I see is this picture of Katrina. But it's a little blurred, I can't quite make her out, and so it looks like I have to play a game in order to unlock her profile. And so I pick the game, I'm gonna go with Riz Quiz, and it asks me which pickup line would Katrina most likely respond to. And so I looked through the options, and I think it's going to be this one. And I was right. And I do this a couple more times with a couple more questions, and in the end, I end up winning and unlocking her profile. And she seems pretty cool, so I'm going to send it off to her so that she can try to unlock my profile. Now, all of a sudden, dating isn't this awkward, pressured thing. It's fun. It's kind of like a game show in your pocket. And there's this leaderboard here. I can see all of these people and their risk score, and it looks like that there's already almost 70 people from UT on the app. And then all of a sudden, I get this notification, and it looks like somebody has sent me a game request. So I open it up and I play the game. Of course, I win. And then, since we both unlocked each other's profiles, it's going to allow me to propose a date. And so I pick a date, a time, a location, and I look through all the locations of local restaurants and activity venues that have paid me on the app. I pick one, I send it off, and then 5 minutes later, she accepts it, and we're going on a date. And the only thing I can think about when we go on that date is man. Everybody should go to the App Store, search Loom Dating, and download Loom so that they too can light up their love life.
All right, thumbs up. That was great. Awesome. Really, best one yet. At your best pitch for as it's evolved. Loved the demo. Loved the just working in its real kind of stuff and the numbers. I can't believe you're actually thinking about the app on a date. But
Yeah, I really like the story and the gamification of the dating. I'm a little concerned about maybe in future iterations talk about the pain of adding more difficulty to getting to a date because all these apps are designed to easify connecting, and you're adding a layer in versus the joy of playing the game. I don't know, but speak to that in future episodes.
yeah, I was kind of assuming that the game was actually ensuring a better match too. In the end, the game was kind of a really good person.
That I would.
So it's you're kind of if they get
If
through
you're
the
top
game,
rating, yeah.
then you're actually a good fit. I don't know, but who knows? I'm interpolating.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome, good job.
Hey Bill, my name's Josh, and I'm actually really excited Bill's here today. For some of you that don't know Bill, I've been watching on the big screen. Back in the day, there was a show called Poker Stars Big Game where, random people like me could apply. There were actually tens of thousands of applicants. They go on the show and they're playing with a ton of different poker celebrities. So it makes for good content, right? Bill is needling Phil Hellmuth, and it's good TV. And I've been watching it over the summer, and I've been having a good time. But as I'm watching the show, the best part of the show was when they hit all the hands, and I was able to play along, right, with the loose cannon. I think about what they would do. Would I hold here? Would I call here? Should I shove? That's the thing that interested me the most. So I was thinking about it, I go out and I play poker with my friends, but it would be nice to train against the celebrities, train against the best, to play the best. So I was looking around at a couple domains. There was this website called celebritypoker.com. And I click on it, and it looks super similar to chess.com, right? You log in, and you're playing against a bunch of bots. With chess.com, you can play against the best chess players in the world. Celebritypoker.com, you can play against bots of the best celebrity poker players based off of their talents, right? It takes in all of their data of all the poker hands that they've been playing, and it responds to you and trains you in a way that would allow you to play well when you go into a tournament. So similar to a chess.com platform, the whole goal isn't let me make a ton of money. It's let me get my ELO the highest so that when I go to a tournament eventually, I can do super well. So for me, I'm on this poker website, and I'm just playing Negranu, I'm playing Hellmuth, and I'm trying to get my ELO as high as possible. Because in real time, it's giving me feedback. Hey, you tried raising on Negranu there, but based off of what you've learned about him before, he probably wasn't bluffing. And slowly, I was able to raise a ton of ELO for my stack. And then over time, when I went to a TCH tournament, I did pretty good. So that's Celebrity Poker. If you want to play the best, train with the best.
I thought that was fun. It's kind of scary because imagine somebody was training just to play me and just knock you up. But I wonder, once again, how many people want to do that, want to play against wizards? Usually, the best part about poker is picking who you play against. You really want to play against the worst players.
Right.
And make money. So trying to go play against Hellmuth Negranu doesn't seem like it's a big end.
Well, it's nearly just training.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a training app by itself, and there are other ones out there. I think it's a training app where you can actually load the profile of somebody else that has that. So the other pros who want to beat other pros. I don't know how much they
You're
matter.
like, this is a pro training app, not a consumer app.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're a pro.
Yeah, I mean, like,
By the way, Bill is a world
that's like
world
saying go
champion
train
poker
at the
player.
best gym to go fight Mike Tyson. Nobody really wants to go fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You're gonna get beat up.
Well, if I lose 100,000 on the big game, it's fine if I bluff Negron at once, right? Like I leave with a smile. So that's how.
That might be you. You might be an N of one, but the
Yeah.
rest of people might be like, that wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
But-
thumbs up.
No, I
Great,
like it. I
great,
like it.
great pitch. Great. In particular, like, look, use every advantage you have. Like, tailor the pitch to who you know is going to be here. Super smart,
Yeah.
right? Like, immediately you had his attention. He loves hearing his name. You should say his name over and over again.
Again.
Like, yeah, you know, like Bill Perkins, Bill Perkins. You know, like, it's just that was smart. Really good.
No, good. Thank
Well, hey, Bill Perkins.
Here we go.
So this idea started when I read this article about this woman in her late 20s who accidentally moved into a retirement home. And it ended up being the best decision of her life. The rent was dirt cheap, there was built-in community, people who actually talked to each other, and get this, no one had phones. We've lost what sociologist Ray Oldenburg called the third place. The space between work and going home that where just life happens. Kind of like in the show Friends, where everyone, Joey, Chandler, Rachel, and Ross, all end up at the same coffee shop. No texting, no planning, they're all just there. Imagine co-op living spaces downtown every major city. Austin, Dallas, New York, where instead of paying $1,800 to $2,000 for a one-bedroom apartment and living alone, you live in a modern, values-based co-op with people in your same stage of life, whether it be in your late 20s or empty nesters. Shared kitchens, co-working spaces, nightly dinners, and most importantly, it's all mostly tech-free zones. Basically, housing that makes connection affordable again. Not a cult, just a community. Thank you.
Wow, that's interesting. I mean, I'd want to learn more, like, how many people would actually take this up?
It sounds like Adam Newman's thing.
Yeah, like, it's.
Which is
like,
that's
like
good.
a co-working space, but like a living space.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we work out.
something, who, you know, I'm interested in, like, how many people would love this and how many people would actually hate this?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely. I think Andreessen Horowitz like backed the WeWork founder going to do this. So something like it, not the same thing, but just so they seem to think it's a good idea.
I'm hooked, I want to know more. How
Yeah,
about
yeah.
more? I want to know more. How much does this cost? Like, what are the margins, you know, so I think I'm hooked, I want to know more.
Yeah. Great pitch and practice and energy as always, and I love seeing you consistently get up here. I had one other thought. I went to Cuba last year, and great, fascinating trip, really eye-opening. Obviously, they're really poor and destitute there in a lot of ways, and they have these community centers for the old people. And it's like, if you're elderly and you don't like sit in your home by yourself all day, they all go to this like little like YMCA kind of thing, you know? And they're sitting there doing little crafts and they're doing some other stuff, but they're all together. And like, sounds to me a lot like this. Like, it was really cool. And it's a really great community thing that they do. So another good example for you.
Hi, my name is Maria. Raise your hand if you've ever stared at your to-do list and thought, yeah, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, me too. You're not sad, you're not upset, you're just stuck. That was me last year. I remember staring at my to-do list, feeling overwhelmed, but unable to act. I didn't want to talk to anyone, and I didn't feel bad enough to ask for help. And then it hit me. There are apps for steps, calories, even sleep, but nothing for emotional support. And the small wins that get you through the slump, which I'm sure all of us are familiar with. So I asked myself, what if there was an app that made it easier to take the small steps that make you feel better, even on the hardest days? That's why I created Lumi. Every day, Lumi asks a simple question, like, if your emotions were a forecast, what would they be today? You respond with words, emojis, or a short reflection, and Lumi tailors gentle, actionable suggestions just for you. Maybe it's a micro stretch, a calming playlist, a short walk, or even just a reminder to rest. It's not therapy, it's support. Over time, Lumi tracks your progress. Because your streaks, points, and mood trends. It keeps a journal of all your entries so you can look back and notice the growth you might have overlooked over time. Because getting through a slump isn't about the giant leaps. It's about noticing the tiny steps you take every day, even when they feel invisible. With Lumi, those steps add up. Each day, one check-in, one micro action at a time, you're moving forward. Lumi turns quiet progress into visible momentum, helping you build habits that quietly make life better, even on your toughest days. Thank you.
Joe?
I like it, but I'm aware of like Prime Mind and a couple other apps that are similar. So I obviously like it because I like those companies and they're successful.
Yeah. I mean, that's always a good sign. There's like, look, there's other people doing things
There's other people doing
like
it,
this
so-
as well. So you have to figure out, how wide it's going to be
How do you
differentiated and
differentiate?
who you're going to target. One of my things that I've seen and I've used a little bit is actually I'm a big fan of the Apple Health ecosystem because I use an iPhone. It does that right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, so yeah. And so but it has a great. I really like the health app, and they added like a kind of simple mental health check thing where it just at different points both asks you how you're doing, how you're feeling, and then the idea what I like most about that is the idea of being able to correlate that to other things and be able to be like, okay, now we kind of know how you're feeling, and we're going to look at your aura ring and what you're eating and your exercise, and be able to tell you not just like the micro suggestions of maybe like generic, but actually like, oh no, for you, like we really think you should do this, or something like that. I don't know if it's possible. But.
Yeah, that's the app I tried to make a demo of for today. And so like I'm an econ major, so I don't know how to code at all. But I did like try to get like fake data from the health app because that was my original idea to like extrapolate that data and then use it to make like personalized suggestions based off of your exercise, how you're feeling that day in particular, and things like that. But
Maybe for next week. Well, I think that's also a great idea. Like in this example, like sometimes say you don't have the data, or like it's hard to do. You can't figure out how to do the integration. Like I can't get the Apple Health thing to actually connect to my app because you have to get Apple to approve something. Tell the Lovable or whatever you're using, be like, make sample fake data as if you connected to the Apple app, and good enough.
I like the idea that the phone is all about persuasion, your notifications, your alert, and you mentioned the word habits and nudging people into habits. So I think you have something there. Just expand it.
Yeah, great job. Thumbs up.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe Gonzalez, and I'm going to tell you about my least favorite thing that happens to me actually quite frequently until something else. So I was on a run. I run with my dog. He's like a border collie. He's very fast, way more athletic than me, as it turns out. But we run all the time, and it's already hard to get motivation to work out, right? We're so busy with classes. We have classes in the morning, classes at night, and it's like, when are you going to work out? So I usually run. So I'm a big runner. Anyway, but I'm running with my dog. He's very fast again. I have my Apple Watch connected. I'm like tracking how many steps I'm doing, right? I'm doing all the things. But then the worst thing happens. We're running. My dog is like running obviously like a little bit toward me. He's got like a leash that's connected, so I'm like using both my hands, right? And then all of a sudden I stop. And my dog his leash yanks and he looks back at me like, what? Like, what now? And I'm frustrated because my song went from like super hype music to like Beethoven Symphony 5. And I'm a composer, which I love, but when I'm running, right, I need something that's gonna hype me up. So I'm frustrated. I turn on DJX, right? It's like an AI sort of music thing that kind of takes music that you already listen to and makes it kind of something more into your vibe, right? So I do that, running again, same exact thing happens. This time my dog's like mad. Now he like sits and he doesn't even want to run anymore. So I go home, I'm really frustrated, right? My 14-year-old brother's there, he's home, he's working out. That is weird. That's out of character for this man. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like really into it. And I'm like, did you meet someone? Like, what's going on? And he was like, oh, I just have capital beats. And I was like, what is Capsule Beats? I've never heard of this. And he's like, it's basically an AI simulated app where you just basically opt in for a week, and it tracks when you're studying, when you're cooking, when you're working out, and sees what music you like to listen to just on your own, and then collects that data, puts it into the My Health app, and connects to your Aura Ring and your Apple Watch, and then it tracks that data and makes playlists for you based on what you listen to while you're doing that normally. Wow, that was amazing sound. So that is the idea. I guess it got cut off, but. Anyway, but it's a really great app because that way you're not actually having to, okay, let me tell, I sometimes like listening to rap. It's completely based on beats and what you like running to. So if I'm a fast runner, right, I'd have a faster BPM, but it would track that based on your Oura Ring or Apple Watch. So this is great.
Great.
I kind of like the idea of AI playlists, basically a score to your life, depending on what you're doing. I like it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
would describe it a little bit
I've
differently
heard
than
that
she did.
I've heard that Spotify is moving to just the percentage of music that is listened to that is AI generated versus licensed is growing. Like it's only getting bigger, which they really like because they don't have to pay for it. And so I believe that that is certainly a trend.
This is like an AI DJ.
The story kind of lost me. Like, I mean, like the first half of the story, then to the AI DJ, like when you were like, I was doing it and then like the music was wrong. And I'm just like, I didn't quite understand what was going on through all that. So like, yeah, I think you could tighten that up a little bit and they'd both make it shorter and a little more directly connected to
Or more
what you're
examples.
getting out of the other one.
Like I was getting ready for a date, automatically, I was playing this. I was going for a run, I was going to do this. I was studying, I got to do this. So having something like AI just automatically curate a list that fits what you're doing, I would buy it.
Well, it's interesting because DJX does that. I think keys. I've noticed. I've listened to it, and it'll put same songs keys. I'm like, but I'm listening to D major for like an hour, and I don't want to do that.
All right, awesome, thank you. One more? Great.
Hi, I'm Jay, and my first job was selling popcorn at one of the top 20 highest selling movie theaters in the country. My coworkers and I were basically mini salesmen, upselling customers and competing with each other for small prizes. Eventually, I'm transferred to a new theater, and on my first day, I'm upselling as usual when I start to notice coworkers giving me the awkward side eye. Apparently, they don't really do that here. And this was shocking to me because I saw firsthand how fun, engaging, and profitable a strong sales culture could be. And when I mentioned this to my general manager, he said every time he tried to establish a sales culture, it failed. Staff would just lose motivation. And that's when I realized, what if we focus on building habits, not motivating? And that led to Frontline Metrics, a startup focused on gathering behavioral data to build strong sales habits. It works by connecting with sales registers, and from there, it can process speech and audio and prompt employees in real time with upsell suggestions. This process not only encourages consistency, but provides a way to measure behavior. This data can then be used to give feedback to employees or gamify sales with leaderboards. Sales are great, but the behavior behind those sales is where the real magic happens. So make selling fun, engaging, and profitable with Frontline Metrics.
That was great, really good job, thumbs up. I like the idea. I like where you're going with it. I think that when you told the story, it would have been a lot stronger if you connected like what you were like. And I realized that habits would be better than this, which was, to be honest, like kind of a big leap, and you didn't really justify. So it's like, okay, why do you think it's better? Or like, why would I believe you that it's better? Like you're just kind of, it's just a claim. Whereas like if it was like, I noticed that from the first job, they were using habits to do, I don't know if this is true, but they were using habits to do it, and that was the thing that everybody else was missing. It's like I'm stealing this secret that I learned at my first job, and I'm bringing that to everybody else. Like, that would be more believable to me.
Yeah, like you're codifying something that works.
Yeah, like, so just, yeah, why do I believe this is, I mean, I generally actually do believe it's going to work. Well, in general, I think this idea of doing it works, but the whole, like, the leap was suddenly like, we're going to do habits versus this, what does that mean? And like, anyway, so, yeah, I thought it was actually really good. I think it's a really good idea. There's a lot of other people doing gamifying of retail, of, you know, and like, kind of like, behind the counter workers and things like that. And I also think that super really works.
Yeah, I think a lot of you have like concepts that are like applying something like gamification. Already known big, people go, oh, I got it, and you're applying it to dating and matching dating. Or community workspace, what about community living? Where is see senior citizen living? Young people. This one, gamifying sales.
Yeah, all right. Great job. Those are some good pitches. Hey, Chris. And next we're gonna do, we'll do our demos. So if you've got a demo to show, we're gonna I think we need to plug in at the back for some reason today. So please line up at the back if you have a demo, and we'll switch over to our demos for another 20, 30 minutes. Oh, no, wait. It's a tie. Oh, what do you mean? Oh, you're gonna rip it in half? It's not a Bitcoin. It's not a Bitcoin. Okay. What are your two?
You pick between gamified dating and community living for younger people.
Oh, it's tough. They're both really good, but the gamified dating seemed like the most kind of like unique ready to go to me. So I'm gonna go down. Congratulations. $100. A real $100. All right, we ready to do some demos? How many demos we got? 3 more coming. 4. All right. Awesome. Tell us, and remember to like make the text bigger.
Hello everybody, I'm Semyon and I created SafeTrip. So a huge factor that goes into, you know, when you're planning your like trips and vacations is, you know, like the safety of where you're going is really important. And especially when you're going to like third world countries and things like that. But I mean, you can always Google, you know, the name of the city you're going to and seeing how dangerous it is, but there's no real way to kind of look on a map and see exactly where you're staying and, you know, like seeing what crime is going on in the area. So make it so you can see the layout. You can type in the city and the country of where you're planning to go, and if you want as well, you can actually put in the specific address of the Airbnb you're staying at. So let's just do. Someone give me a city.
Cabo San Lucas. Cabo space San Lucas. Mexico.
Alright, so now that we've searched, it's going to zoom in on the Cabo San Lucas, and it's going to give us a general safety rating that's just given from, you know, the AI searching online. And then basically it shows a map layout of Cabo, and these little dots right here are actually crimes and like safety risks in the area. So if we press on one of them, it's going to say assault incident under investigation on November 8th. It's, you know, another one, reported pickpocketing and petty theft. They're kind of organized.
My life is right here, right now. Let's fly.
So yeah, you can see the exact crime that's going on, and you can also filter the crime. So let's say we have, you know.
Wait, what's yellow bad? What's green?
So green, it's kind of organized. Green is low risk. You know, yellow is medium risk.
Okay, is this real time?
Yeah, so this is like what's been reported in the area.
How can you get this globally?
I had to like scrape the internet basically with like a bunch of news APIs. left side here, it's supposed to put like a bunch of news reports, general reports on what's going on in the area. Unfortunately, my free trial of the news API ran out, and it's $500 for the pro version. But yeah, essentially you can sort it by which safety risks you want to see. So let's say you don't really care about disasters in the area, you can press on that, and then as you can see, this disaster right here on the right just got removed.
Is this fully functional? Is this actual real? Like how would you usually have your grandmother use this?
So
would you have your grandmother use this?
I mean, this is like sort of an MVP, but
I mean, it looks real. I'm just wondering, like, there's no fake data.
No,
like, it's not. Is it crap data? Like, do you think this is real? Like, are those like real things? And are they recent? How old are they?
So it's supposed to kind of pull from like around like the current day, so like last 10 days. This is October 30th, 2025.
I think it's super cool. There's a really cool app called Citizen One or something that's like where people report stuff, and is like a public safety app that's really very successful and really cool. But
yeah, and then there's also your Ring
cooler.
app that they don't pull up. That reports from the Ring app, right?
Right.
Like,
Reports to the police.
No, this is really cool. I'll definitely use this. So, like, I have a daughter. She's out there traveling around. I would be like, hey,
I'm
check this out.
It's so good. It's so a lot of things when they're good and you make them, they look obvious. But yeah, it kind of looks so obvious. I'm like, does this not already exist? Because this is super useful. Yeah, really good. Thumbs up. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, even though you have a not complete app with all the data, you can keep going, and then you can show a chart over time of the crime. This crime is trending up,
The hot
trending
spots.
down.
Yeah.
It's things going hot.
The hot spots.
There's a lot of things you can do.
The
This
hot
just
spots are
visually
useful.
displaying crime on a map where you're going to go is a great idea.
Yeah. What's your major?
I'm statistics and data science.
Awesome. Thank you. And where'd you build this?
I built this in Cursor.
Cool. Good job. The rule is they can only have started it from last class. They have 1 week to work on it. So they don't have to use AI, but they have to use AI because otherwise you would do it.
Hello. Yeah, so this is the study space program, UT Study Space, that I just pitched a few minutes ago. And yeah, so basically first we log in. Yeah, so we have the buildings. I don't have all of the buildings at UT campus, but these are the buildings that we. I have. Huh?
That's the GDC is the only building I know. GDC?
Huh?
GDC.
Yeah, GDC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I added only one room for now, and yeah, all of the buildings are there. Like, I like to go to PCL. PCL here. Yeah, so I only added the rooms that I usually go to, which is I usually go to same places, and the rooms are not the exact room numbers. I couldn't find it online, and I forgot to check them. So yeah, but I have my own profile where I can basically say, okay, these are the metrics that I value the most, and increase their weight when finding rooms. Also, I can create a room myself here, and I can search for rooms. So let's say I am at GDC.
Where is it getting how full they are?
Huh?
How does it know how full they are?
It's not getting how full they are currently, but this the crowd metric is more of a rating, where people rate, okay, usually this room is usually crowded or not crowded. That is kind of the main idea. And then I can find it using all of this. So I can apply, yep, and then I found GDC. And if when people add more rooms that they can study in, there are going to be more rooms where people can find it. Also, people can also make comments, where I commented this today, and also that from different users. Also, you can add your private notes, where Here I had not a bad place, but it's very crowded throughout the day, and I can hide it. I can also like rate it here. So yeah, that's the main.
Yeah, good job. Double thumbs up. In the next pass of this, I would take out half the features. Just make it simpler. Like, which ones of these really matter?
Like some of the ratings?
Like
Some
all
of
the different ratings and everything. It's just like, it's a lot of things to do.
Mhm.
So like, figure out which ones really matter more than others and maybe do less of them.
Well, doesn't isolation, isn't that like a derivative of crowdedness?
Yes,
Yeah, you might
so
say
like
that.
there are like maybe like tables, but like you have to share a table. Maybe it's not crowded, but like you have to share it. But in PCL, there are tables where like, you know, there are like kind of cubicles, and that's what isolation mean in this context. And like crowdedness mean like how many people are there. That was
Got
the
it.
idea. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Rhoda. I'm a senior at econ and plan 2 honors major at UT, and so I thought I'd use this moment to pitch Pantry Pal to you guys. So this idea I've been working on for the past year or so, but I kind of vibe coded this in the past week and I just kind of want to show you guys. So the idea of this is currently there are almost like 60 million people that rely on food pantries, and food pantries don't really have a way of really providing systemic nutritional education to people. So this is helping solve that problem. So people are still able to take control of their dietary habits even when they have to rely on food pantries. So when someone logs in, I can already put this in already, they'll put in their health conditions and their main health goals. So I'm just gonna put like high blood pressure, and their main health goal is to reduce their sodium intake. And so they are able to search food pantries near them. So I already kind of have selected the Austin food pantry. And through that, they are able, the app will populate the different foods that is available at the food pantry, and users are able to go and scan them and see whether or not that hits their dietary needs. So like, let's say instant ramen, for example. So since they put in high sodium, like they're trying to watch their sodium, it tells them, hey, this is really high in sodium. But the really key thing here is that it provides them with recipe ideas based on foods that are available at the pantry, and it kind of gives them that percentage. And the idea is to hopefully for people that receive boxes from food pantries to have them be able to just scan a QR code on the box, and it already kind of populates these different recipe ideas based on what they already have. So this is, I'm currently in talks with the Central Texas Food Bank, and the Keep Austin Fed, which is one of the largest organizations in Austin helping people facing food insecurity, are ready to help me pilot this. So I know that there are a bunch of CS people in here, so if you're interested in this, or know someone that would be interested in helping me build this, let me know. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Super cool.
What I would like, because it requires a lot of the user like making a box, is let's say I put in my health thing and I know I'm going there for a week. I don't know how much you get there. Let's say I'm getting, I don't know, 5,000 calories. It just filled my basket for me, and it just got that. So instead of me, removing a lot of decisions outside and making it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think this is awesome.
Yeah,
Thumbs up.
This is great.
Really cool. And it sounds like you're also really making real
But like just shop for me.
real
that it
business
just-
progress
you know,
out of it. Yeah, the next step is just now how do you make it easier? Kind of like I was saying about the study one, like almost like less data. As much as it's good to have a lot of data, does the audience want all of this data? Or do they really, kind of just need some of the really want the recommendations, maybe, or maybe you get the recommendation and you can click to expand to get all the data. And then, like Bill said, like, could you take a picture of it instead of having to pick what it is, like you do other things that make it easier for someone that maybe isn't going to take as much time.
I don't know what they allow you to have, but it was like, here's a week's worth of food that match your condition.
I think you get, okay, and I'm maybe way out of my realm here, but
Yeah,
like, I think they just give you a box, right?
So it depends. Some food pantries just give people boxes, and others you can kind of shop around. So it depends
Yeah.
on what you get.
So yeah, you might either you have a limited selection or you just get a box of things.
So if you go to one that shops around, what I would like to say is get these things.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just had a picture.
Yeah.
Get this. This is a week's worth of food, and here's the recipes you can look at later.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, really good. Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you. And again, if anyone wants
Looking
to
for
help
help.
on this, yes, please.
Looking for teammates. Great job, everybody. Last week I was kind of like a little disappointed. There weren't as many pitches. This week's been awesome.
Okay, my name's Anish. I'm currently a senior majoring in information systems. And my
Try to
class-
speak up a little bit.
Can you hear me now? Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Anish. I'm currently a senior majoring in information systems, and my ID today is Scott. Essentially, what this platform is meant to do is it's addressing the entire grocery market space. Right now, there's no one singular tracker where you can track what's in your pantry and what your bills are kind of looking like when you go to the grocery store. So let's. It's not moving.
Back when I gave demos, the internet would stop working. Oops.
Gotta be an Apple product.
Oops, I guess it's not gonna work today. Hopefully next week I'll get to show y'all the idea.
All right, no worries. Thank you for trying. That happens with demos. I'm actually surprised that that has not happened more because that happens all the time.
I'm sure it'll happen online.
Yeah. All right. Are those all the demos? All right. Well, that was great. Yeah, really great job today. I'm very impressed. Those were good, really good ones. On the pitches, again, as we've now been doing this all semester, so the bar goes up a little bit. Like you guys you've got a lot of you've got the story down, and you've got like making it personal and experience. And so like that's why it's not that that's wrong. That's just like now that you have that, now you're gonna get other feedback. And they're like, all right, now I got it. Like it's very anecdotal. You said it's anecdotal. That's like it's very much like just your personal experience. And so then that says to me like, okay, now how do you make it sound bigger than just your personal experience? And that's bringing in data. It's bringing in I talk to other people. It's bringing in other things to help make it a bigger opportunity. Bill, as I mentioned, is an entrepreneur, an investor, a poker player. It's like, he also does a lot of wakeboarding. So yeah, I don't want to run out of things. But Bill's great. He's a good friend. He's also a best-selling author of a book that had a big impact on me. It really did, called Die with Zero, which has a lot to it. But if I were to try to summarize it, it's one of the sayings in there is, the point is to die with the most experience in your bank account, not the most money. And that in order to do that, you actually don't want to just like save up all your money till the end because you can't really use it. So really interesting, and then he takes like a hedge fund to approach that. So a really interesting book. He's also built some great companies. There's two of them here at Capital Factory that we're investors in. I hope there aren't some other secret ones I don't know about yet, but there probably are because he does a lot of different things. But one of them is called SynMax. They're both related. It's not because they both use the satellite data. And the other one's called SkyFi. And I think today he's going to give us a pitch for SkyFi and then show us a demo. And then you'll get a chance to talk to him. And you can both ask him about how they're using AI, what he's been seeing through these different companies, and poker or anything else you want.
Yeah, I'll probably be the worst pitch.
Should we give you the other mic? Is a little nicer.
Let's say there's a boat adrift in the ocean.
And if you just had access to a satellite imagery, you could save the people on board. Let's say there's a wildfire raging and you wanted to land the helicopter in a safe EZ and you needed an update. If only you had up-to-date satellite imagery. You're an environmentalist and you're tracking walruses and seals during the winter in the North Pole. How do you see them? If you had synthetic aperture radar or access to it, you would do that. Usually people trying to get access to satellite data, they thought this is only something the government could do. Big giant contracts, multiple millions of dollars. What Sky-Fi does is make it easy. We bring geospatial access to satellites to the palm of your hand, either on a laptop or on your phone. You can order a satellite image, task one, just like you were James Bond. Synthetic aperture radar, hyperspectral, optical image, even just to see what your backyard looks like. Or is that Google Earth image that's 6 months to 2 years old? Is it accurate? I'm looking to buy a house there. I'm looking to move in that neighborhood. Is that neighborhood going to shit, or is it nice? Not only does Sky-Fi provide geospatial data, allowing you to task a satellite in the palm of your hand as if you were James Bond, we also provide the answers, because not everybody could get the information out of a satellite image. We need AI, machine learning. We want to know if these crops are well or not. Or this hyperspectral image, is there gold there in those hills? Are there rare earths? We easify and provide access to geospatial imagery and also analytics, so that everyone can have a huge impact on whatever their field is, whether it's the environment, whether it's trading, whether it's search and rescue, or whatever your use case may be. Sky-Fi.
Awesome. All right, do we get a demo?
Is that my pitch? I don't know.
It was great. That was a killer. I thought it was great.
All right, so I wasn't able to log into it. I'm trying to use this on a guest account. But let's say we just click the satellite image. What you're seeing is Austin, okay? Right now is Austin. This is a Google map, just to give you kind of where you're at. And you're able to drag your icon around and say, I want a satellite image of this over here. Can everybody see that? See where this is moving around?
Can you make it zoom a little bit?
The
whole screen.
I'm trying to pinch this. There we go. I'm not a Mac user, but so I wanted a satellite image. So this is a Google Earth image, which is 6 months to 2 years old, and is generally satellite. It's usually plain imagery, depending on when they took it or where the area is. Sometimes they use 60 centimeter satellite imagery. Sometimes they use plain imagery. And let's say I wanted a very super high resolution 35 centimeter image. You can see at the bottom, add to cart, $750. If I click on this image, it's added to my cart, and go to my cart and check out. So if I want to go check out, boom, that's simple. My order is going to go to a satellite. The satellite's going to pass over there. It's going to take a picture. That is the big.
Can you just actually reiterate slower what you said just is going to happen?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily really clear, like
Okay,
what's
so
happening behind
what's
the
happening here?
scenes of that.
I'm pick a region. Let's pick Cabo San Lucas. So let's go around. I want to go search around Cabo. You got to learn how to spell. Okay.
We're in Austin.
A lot of Cabo bombs.
Yeah, no, there we go. Cabo San Lucas. So this brings me around this area. This is my target area, right? And I have a 25 square kilometer box. I can draw my own AOI over here. I'm not that. I can draw a rectangle. I can draw a custom shape, right? And I'd say, okay, over here, I would like a satellite image of this area, okay? And so right now, I'm looking at optical imagery. You see where it says up here, radio dialed optical imagery? And I can choose the resolution. So when I say 25 centimeter to 50 centimeter or 50 centimeter, that stands for ground sampling distance.
It's kind of like how much can you zoom in?
Yeah, it's basically how sharp is the picture going to be. And 25 centimeter means each pixel is 25 centimeters apart, right? So that's the legal limit right now in the United States of America until 10 centimeters goes. Okay, that you can order a satellite image. Don't ask me why, politics, whatever. I can also order a thing called a synthetic aperture radar image. Okay, what's a synthetic aperture radar? That sees through clouds, works at night, and it's a radar reflection of the image. It actually sees through buildings. With the complex data that comes back from a synthetic aperture radar image, not gonna go into all of them, but essentially, I can now, like James Bond or the military, something that the military would only be able to do 5 years ago, now you can do, and use the many use cases of synthetic aperture radar. You select my resolution and synthetic aperture radar. It'll come with not only the reconstructed image from the radar, but this thing called a complex phase history data, which allows you to extract other information out of it. And then I can also click stereo image. And that just gives you kind of like a 3D image of what's going on around. Two satellites passing over at the same time.
And I think you've kind of evolved that past this part of the pitch, but when you used to pitch, you'd kind of start with, so if you didn't have Sky-Fi, how would you do this now?
So,
like, what would,
why do I need a
what
satellite?
did you replace?
What do I want to do? So, I'm a trader. I have a hedge fund called Skylar Capital. Something goes wrong with an LNG facility. What do? We call somebody up, they fly a plane out, they take a camera, and they take a picture of it. We have to get a pilot, and they have to fly out.
Because you're trying to predict, like, oh, because that facility had a problem or something happened, is that going to change the prices? So we want to bid something. And you're like, it's worth so much money to you that you hire your own plane to fly over there and take a picture.
Correct.
Because they can't stop you from doing that, right? Like,
or any type of information on the planet in which there is value to you. So for me as a trader, how high the corn is stocked up on the field might be of value. How many cattle are grazing in a field might be of value to me. How many ships are in port may be of value to me. Okay, whether these crops are have a worm infestation or not may be of value to me. Okay, information is of value, and it hasn't been possible to cheaply access geospatial data or satellite data before. The alternative was fly a plane.
or if you want to
Or
get
drone
satellite,
operator.
it was like, okay, like, first of all, like, there's no website to go to. Like, you didn't even, the phone number's not listed anywhere. You got to, like, know the people to get the phone number to call someone. They finally call you, and they're like, you're like, I want this one picture. I'm like, well, you can't buy one picture. You have to buy, like, 1 million pictures. Like, we only sell them in batches of 1 million. You know, like, and so it's just like, it wasn't really possible at all.
Yeah, for most of history, space-based observation has been a science business or a science focus, not tech focus. And the differences in tech focus is that I'm satisfying the customer. I'm making it easy to use. I don't have to buy $1 million worth of imagery. I can just buy one image. I can do it by API, and I can order on my phone. Right? I don't have to talk to a salesperson. And the process is quick. And so what Sky-Fi did was eliminate talking to a salesperson, eliminating the need to buy $1 million worth of imagery. You can buy a la carte, and making it very simple and trivial. So the theory behind Sky-Fi was most businesses that are very successful in growing their revenue were an iteration of making something easy that already existed. Everybody already knew how to buy a book. You just go to the bookstore. But what if we put every single book online and all you had to do is click? Revenues explode. Everybody knows how to hail a taxi or get a cab or haul a car service. But what if we just had an app that came to you, you pushed the button and it showed up? The revenues explode. So if you look across most businesses, right, the correlation between their revenue and their easification, as I call it, how easy did they make the process? You can see the easier they make the process, the higher the revenue. Everybody knows how to go on a date and meet a girl and call them up and ask their friends to introduce to somebody. What if I could just sit in my underwear in my bed and swipe? Right? Revenues explode. And so Sky-Fi was like, if I went to somebody and said, hey, by Wednesday, I want you to have a satellite image of this to get this data, or I'm going to murder your whole family, 99% of the people will be dead. It was so difficult to order satellite imagery. And so we were about to change that to make it trivial. And why? One, yes, there's the revenue, but there's a lot of value in that data, and people can have a significant impact on the world if they have access to that data. Whether it be environmental, whether it be business, rescue, whatever the use case is. As a matter of fact, when people ask me what the use case is, I've given them a couple, but I say my brain is not big enough to think of all the use cases when you unlock geospatial data.
So let's go back to that. You know, when Bill first pitched this idea to me, And I like the idea because actually it was one of the examples that I had given earlier, much earlier before, when I just tried to imagine. I would tell my kids, like, someday you're gonna have an iPhone app and it's gonna be like Google Maps, but it's gonna be real time. You can just like look anywhere in the world, you know, like right now. And this is like look anywhere in the world within like 24 hours. Like it's gotten super close, right? But you imagine eventually it will be that, right?
Yeah.
And so as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, of course this has to exist. Like this is, and at the same time, like his pitch was, well, people are going to use this to like take a picture of their soccer game. People are going to use this to take a picture of this wedding, this field, all these random use cases that didn't make any sense to me and I couldn't imagine. But it was this idea of like, well, nobody does that because nobody can do that.
Yeah, a lot of the things that once you make something easy, the use cases kind of explode, right? Or the adoption tends to explode. And so we were going to take something, geospatial satellites taking a picture of the Earth that only military and large corporations would do, and make it trivial for a teenager to be able to do. And the use cases would explode. And that's generally in every business that you've seen out there. I mean, there's a few businesses where this is a new thing. It's a fusion reactor, etc. It's usually easifying an existing process. Or inside your business, I'm going to easify people connecting. I'm going to build buildings where people can connect. I'm going to easify connecting with people. I'm going to easify pantry and food and healthy choices, right? The name of the game in technology generally, not always, is easification. What am I making easier? How am I reducing the cognitive load on my user? How am I making something that was like a pain in the ass trivial, right? And some of these things you think, well, why would Uber be so successful? Everybody already knows how to look at it. It's like, it's just so much easier just to click a button and have the guy drive right to you. And then you don't have to pay if it's already there. Your credit card is already there, and it takes you home. That little difference is a multi-billion-dollar company.
All right, questions for you guys? So how are you doing that? Do you have your own satellites? Are you partnering with satellite companies? How are you able to get
It's a great question. So we are not in the hardware business. We are kind of like Amazon or Netflix, if you will, or Uber, if you will. We don't own the satellites. We are the platform that communicates with all the satellites. So we have partners that own satellites. We wrestle with them, try and get one EULA, so you don't have 50 different EULAs you're signing up with them. You only sign one with us, and then your order gets routed to their satellites. We're the middleman, right?
What are the security implications? Like, whether it's like restricted zones or just like a background check to make sure I'm not taking pictures or the military?
Yeah, most of the security restrictions are related either at the provider level or the U.S. government level. So you're a U.S. company, right? So we cannot, we have to follow U.S. laws. You cannot sell an image of greater resolution than 50 centimeter GSD over Israel. That's just the law the United States has. We have Chinese providers, one Chinese provider, it's like they will not let you take an image over China, period, whatsoever. But we have other providers that will. And so the one law that exists in the United States of America with optical imagery and SAR imagery is that the limit is 25 centimeters GSD unless a foreign country or a foreign commercial entity puts out something at a higher resolution. Then it automatically goes to the lower resolution. So technically it's 25, it's going down to 10 because there's 10 centimeters coming out. So like 10 centimeter GSD, but nobody really wants to put up a 10 centimeter GSD satellite because it's very expensive. But they're coming out.
Currently, with your customers that are using your app, what do you see as like the biggest use case that people are actually going to the service and using?
I think the biggest users are agriculture and finance. So hedge funds and traders use it a lot. And they don't want anybody talking about why they're using it. They don't like them being tracked, they don't know what's going on, but they are very big users and they're power users because they will pay a lot for information because the cost of the information is insignificant to the value of the trade. Right? All their value add is value add on top of information and analysis. That's all they are. Right? They take an information analysis and then they produce money.
Right. Are you convinced like the satellite companies make it worth it for them to actually do all this stuff?
Well, one of the things is that we like force them like if you have a proliferation of satellites, which you have had happen since SpaceX went there and launch costs. Why are you going to replicate your marketing team, your sales team? How are you going to deal with the long tail of consumer? Consumer business is very hard, right? There's a customer education portion of it, et cetera. And then, originally how we did it is we got one big satellite provider on there and said, see, he's on. If you're not, you're going to get obligated, right? Nobody wants to go to the banana store or the Apple store or the soup store. They want to go to a grocery store. And so we market ourselves as the grocery store of geospatial intelligence and imagery. And that kind of resonates with people, right? Although we do build, some people want, like, you know how on Amazon, like Dove will have their own storefront inside Amazon? And that's called a white label. We do white labels, but it's the same revenue to us. It's our program and application and everything on their storefront. We just build it for them. But it's the same software, same everything, same font. Oh, sorry.
What is the time frame for when y'all get those things?
So it depends on the technology. If you ordered a SAR image right now, you'd probably get it in 3 hours back. Because it doesn't matter if it's day or night, right? It just takes the image as soon as that satellite passes. And they're doing about 16 rotations a day, so they get to a downlink station pretty quick and bring it down. If you're doing optical, right, there's two things that can mess with you. The clouds and complex, right? And so you see on this little slider, I say max cloud coverage and imagery. That's the one thing that's going to get you with optical. Because sometimes it's just cloudy and you're not able to get a picture, right? And then after it takes the picture, it needs to go to a downlink station to process. So it could be a day, it could be 3 days, depending on the cloud cover, right? But SAR is kind of like your go-to, I need it right away type of imagery, if it's applicable.
From a margin perspective, does the company operate as a software company, or is each image, it has pretty high variable cost to the point where
Yeah, so we don't pay for the imagery. We're just a 30% business, 30, 35, depending. We also do analytics, our analytics provider. So most humans can't get the max value out of if I hand you a picture and I said, tell me how many cars are in this picture, you think there's hours, right? The AI on top of that will tell you there are, 500 cars, 3 bridges, 1,000 buildings, what's going on in that imagery. And then it'll tell you from one picture to the next, the change detection. This is how many cars are not in the image now, and this is what happened to this bridge, right? That's kind of the intelligence that people want, is usually some sort of change detection. What is different? That our margins are like 50% or higher.
Since your customers today are mostly like hedge funds, like you were talking about, I'm assuming your sales team like mostly deals with inbound.
What's hedge funds? U.S. government or government users, agriculture.
Yeah.
But if you're saying like numerically, it's like hedge funds. They'll pick it up. But
Gotcha.
I think the dollar amount is U.S. government.
Okay.
There's a thing called GoTac. It's a tactical awareness kit that, like, let's say there's a disaster. People come in with this TAC kit, and they want to have all the information coming in there. They want satellite imagery and all this other stuff, so we're on top of that. They want us to build something for the government. There's those other areas of the government. If you're in the military and you want to take a picture of an LZ, a landing zone, and you want to requisition a satellite, the process is like 7 days. It's like, why are warfighters taking 7 days to order an image when they can just go on their phone and their kid can order an image right away?
Right.
So Sky-Fi for government, they kind of want to centralize all these satellites and all these assets in one place on a platform that they can use. So that's another big area of revenue as well.
Gotcha. So if your sales and marketing team is like mostly dealing with this inbound, are you guys like facing any gripes like from your customers? Is there anything that they're looking for?
Customers, the biggest, let's say gripes, like if everybody has less latency, higher frequency. That's the biggest thing. Like people want video right now, right? Like they want it, and higher resolution. Some people higher resolution, but like if you're like counting cargo ships or cars or trucks, once you get to a certain level of resolution, the rest is just wasted money, right? But there's plenty of room for improvement, and new satellites and new sensors for different use cases are going up. But there's never enough. There's never enough frequency for people, right? Like I have a use case, and I'm like, look, guys, if you had this every day, it would be much better for me. because I need to watch this site every day, right? And I don't have an excuse, right, to my investors, like, oh, you didn't watch this every day, right? Or a type of sensor, like a couple satellites unfortunately have blown up and the infrared sensors have gone on, and infrared is really good for telling you if something's on or off. Right? So if you're watching factories, you know, where they're on or off for any kind of like GDP number or any kind of trading intelligence, etc. Well, at scale, infrared is great, but the infrared sensors aren't up yet because two of the satellites blew up. I mean, it blew up, but they deorbited or they bricked in satellites because space is hard. And so we stay away from space, we stay at the Uber level. I don't own the cars, I just run the software platform that connects.
Are there any legal issues in the U.S., like privacy laws or anything like that?
No, not with satellite imagery. None.
Well, I mean, just the resolution.
I mean, it just at the level, right? It's like
Resolution level.
The resolution isn't high enough, right? Like I can't identify.
But that's a legal thing.
Even
So
at
this-
10 centimeters, I can't identify.
What I think is like photograph like private property.
Yeah, I mean, there's enough case law with reporters taking pictures of celebrities at 1,000 feet over their house and stuff like that. You might even heard, they named it called the Barbara Streisand effect. Have you guys ever heard of that? She was complaining about these helicopters taking a picture. And nobody would have paid attention, but once she started complaining, everybody started taking a picture over her house, right? Like, and so the case law is pretty clear on, you know, once you're out in public and people taking pictures, there's nothing you can really do about it from a certain height. I can fly a drone at 1,000 feet over anything, pretty much, except for in the state of Louisiana. I think it has to be a little bit higher. You know, there's some other rules state by state, but generally with satellites, the federal government and they set the rules, and it's just all on GSP.
But again, if it's a plane, that doesn't apply, right?
The plane still, you're high enough you can take pictures. Even drones, you can take pictures. I mean, people say, what about privacy? It's like drones have very, very good optical resolution, and they can fly much lower and take pictures.
Yeah. So it just, this is, you know, the window's going to close.
Yeah.
There will be no
It's funny when
privacy
you get into this,
externally.
you understand, like, wow, there really isn't that much privacy, except inside your house with the windows closed, you know?
Unless you're using SAR.
Sorry. Then I can see your house. No. But just no. Go ahead.
What enabled this business to become real? Like, was it a law? Have you mentioned?
I think there were a couple things. One is kind
Actually, I
of,
just want to put a fine point in that, you know, to Mike Maple's questions. What's the inflection point? Why now? You know, why could you do this business now suddenly when it might not have been possible 5 years ago?
So, the
Never.
space-based industry has long been funded by the military and NASA, and a science-based business. And as launch costs, SpaceX, right, particularly SpaceX, launch costs have come down, and hardware costs have come down. Many companies said, hey, I can launch a satellite into the sky, right, and be profitable. There's Planet Labs, right, and there's all types of startups. Firefly and Orbcom, and the Chinese launched, you know, a zillion satellites, and it's kind of the space race, right? This national pride, right? But there's only so much market for geospatial data, and not everybody wants to go to 7 different storefronts to order geospatial data. They want all the options on one platform. So really, the cost, the launch cost to get a kilogram to space going down by 90% has really exploded the number of satellites in the sky, which then created the need for a marketplace. Otherwise, it would just be Maxar, which is now called Vantor, maybe Planet, and that's it.
Can you adjust these parameters? Like rectangle, circle?
Yeah, so over here, I can click on this. I don't use that. Click on this.
You know those
make
like
nothing-
camera
this?
ads where like it zooms in and then it zooms in and then it zooms in and then it zooms in.
See,
Like,
I'm
these
making points.
these pictures can all do that.
So I can make any kind of shape I want, right? Now, what's going to happen? I don't know if I did this right. Like I drew. I'm going to stop there. So let's say I drew this shape. When satellite takes a picture, it's going to take a picture of this. What's going to happen is our software is going to clip that and only charge you for that, right? The minimum square kilometers is 25, but we're going to clip that. So you can draw any kind of shape you want.
Where do you see sci-fi going?
So, oh wow. So, giving you the ability to order an infrared image, a satellite image, a SAR are, and that's great. But there's only a certain amount of people that can take advantage of that, right? It's kind of like if I say, hey, I'm going to send you GPS signal. There's very few people in this room can do anything with raw GPS signal. Now, obviously, we're humans, and we have electro-optical sensors ourselves, so we can do something with satellite imagery. But the real unlock is in AI and data and analytics on top of that, right? And so where Sky-Fi is going is a geospatial hub for everyone in data and analytics. So at the end of the day, as a trader, I don't even look at the imaging. I don't care. I just want to know, is that thing on or off? Are the ships coming or not? I just want to know, is that boat adrift needing rescue? Where are the coordinates? Right? Do I really care about? No, I just need
So
to
real
know where to
quickly,
send a
you want to
helicopter.
describe dark ship?
Yeah, yeah. So,
Separate business, but very
yeah, it's a
related.
separate business. So one of the things, one of the use cases, right, for geospatial intelligence is ships have AIS transponders. They were originally made to help ships not crash into each other. It's also a way for everybody to track where ships are. When ships are up to no good at sea, whether it be piracy, sanctions violation, drug running, military activity, smuggling, and all kinds of other nefarious things, right? They turn off their AIS transponder. So be nice, the ocean is very big. So I have another company that ingests like millions and millions of square kilometers of satellite imagery a day. The AI and machine learning identifies all the ships, sees the ones that are not transponding, and tracks them over time. What's going on? So it tracks them day to day, but since ships only go to like 22 knots, and the ocean's very big, it's very easy to track them, see what they're doing. When they go dark, when they're smuggling, you can't hide. I know everything that you're doing, right? Sky-Fi is kind of going that way, not necessarily that very specific application, but if you're a trader, you just want to know the oil tanks in the Gulf. How much oil is in those tanks? Well, you can tell by they're floating top oil tanks. You can tell. Well, how do you tell? Let's have machine learning and AI do it. Just tell me there's this much oil, so I can make a trade, right? So the answer company of geospatial analytics, that's where Sky-Fi is headed, right? Because it's much easier for me to sell you Google Maps than it is to sell you GPS signals. Does that make sense?
Can I take a picture of Area 51?
You can take a picture of Area 51.
Or like North Korea?
They might, so you can take a picture of North Korea. You can take a picture of almost anywhere that's not restricted. Now the US government can tell us to close the aperture over certain areas for any reason whatsoever. But Area 51 isn't specifically restricted, but you're not going to get anything good out of it because all the good shit is under the tarmac, you know? But they could say, hey, you can't do it today.
With like, you kind of mentioned it yourself with like the increase of like drone technologies and all these things. I'm sorry, I think your idea is so good. That's why I'm like looking more into it. Have you thought about like integrating maybe like something like a drone swarm or something like that?
That's a very good question. We also, there's stratospheric balloon companies. We integrate their data. There's plane companies. So if you actually want to send a plane, they actually go out and they scan and send data down, which is a higher resolution, right? You can actually get that, and that's called archive instead of tasking. But you can actually task on our platform a plane. So we're geospatial hub. So anything geospatial related, both data and analytics, we want to be the hub, right? And so there is talk of like, okay, there's these guys, they have a drone company. You know, how do they access the market? They come on platforms, sell them on a platform. Yeah. So, you know, let's say they were a Utah company, and we send out, we have 100 drones or 500 drones from one company. We'll scan anything you need at whatever resolution you need, down to like 1 centimeter. Then you would order it on Sky-Fi. Like they would want to be on our storefront, we would want them on our storefront. The same way as if you made a soup, you'd want to wind up in Amazon or Walmart or Costco, right? Like you want to be there, and Costco would want you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have two questions, but the first one is, I was wondering, just to clarify, how specifically can you time an image capture? And I also know for research or agriculture, you want like specific repeat captures, and so is that
Yeah, so that is a feature that, as we grow up, people have asked for. So there's certain providers right now that will be, one of the things you want, I don't want you to just order an image and take the picture of this image when you can get it. I want this time exactly. So that's called past prediction. right? So we need to know when the satellite is going to be generally in the area, right? And that you can take the picture at that time. So what you go is on certain things with, particularly Maxar has that ability, and Planet's coming up with Pelican, and a lot of SAR providers, Umbra as a SAR, can go, okay, here are the passes you have. And then you can pick to the one that's closest, right? Like, because there's not a satellite just hovering all the time. So you pick the one closest to the time you need, right? That's called pass prediction. And what was the other one? Repeating. Yes, you can do a recurring order. It just constantly does it. Every Monday or every Tuesday or every hour if it's available.
So when you talked about really answering questions versus showing pictures, does this become Sky GPT?
I mean,
like where I can just say, yeah, what's the ocean level changing in Cabo? Like how much was the beach affected by the last storm? How much beach was lost in a hurricane?
You're going into something. So there's
right.
Three AI.
Now it's not take a picture for me. You figure out what picture to take for me.
Right.
But you have the data.
You're hitting on something that's coming. So there's 3 AI initiatives. I think it's called Argus, Rowan, and Athea. I don't know why but
weird names.
Yeah, weird names. So Argus is internally. So it's instead of our staff going, hey, what was sales last month? They just ask Argus. It's connected to all our database, etc. And it says year over year, month to month, this. What did so and so talk about in Slack about this other company we're trying to onboarding? It'll bring up the conversation and do that. Rowan is named after a guy named Rowan, who the president said, hey, I need you to get this message to Garcia, who was a rebel in, I think it was Cuba at the time, and gave no instructions, nothing. He just went and executed through much peril. And so this Rowan thing is a customer interfacing AI where it's like, hey, I want to figure this out. And it goes, you want a hyperspectral imagery with this analytics, blah, 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 and it will do it for you. So that's under
that
development.
Sounds super interesting.
That's under development right now, but you brought up the question, so I'll bring it up. And that will make it much easier for you to interact with geospatial data. So you don't have to know anything about imagery or TSD or whatever. You just describe the problem you want solved or the answer you want, and then Rowan interfaces with whatever it needs to interface. You second question? Go ahead. No, sorry. So you got a second question, then you.
Yeah.
No, then him, then you. Okay.
For the second question, I was wondering, so by Geospatial Hub, I was actually wondering what the next steps were, and whether you wanted to integrate the AI into this platform.
Yeah, so the main thing is like, at the end of the day, I don't most people don't have a GIS degree, don't want to know this. There's a specific problem they want solved. The idea of integrating an AI or a Rowan type feature is to solve the customer education problem. So a lot of people ask, and I've had people in hedge funds like, you should know better. Ask, well, what am I going to do with satellite imagery? And I'm like, you fucking idiot. You're a trader. You should know this, right? But they're not idiots. It's just a customer education issue. And then you tell them one example, they go, oh yeah, then I can do this, this, and this. And what we want to do is have the AI collapse the customer education gap. Just go, what problem do you want to solve? What answer do you want? And then it just communicates with the satellites or the analytics to provide you with the answer.
So would it be based off of the live data then, or?
It'd be based on whatever was available at the time. So it would know the complete capabilities of everything that we had at the time, and then it would it'd use that to give you the answer to the best of its ability. And as new capabilities come on, somebody launches a new satellite, a new capability, new sensor, new frequency, then it would just use those. Yours?
I know you're right now is on data analytics, but do you think Skyfly will ever be able to get live video from satellites?
Yeah, there are satellites that do video, and there are relay stations up where people backhaul through I forget what it was, but they backhaul the data down through the downlink station. So it won't be live, but it'll be like 1 minute, 30 seconds, whatever. But you can get satellite video. So it'll take like this thing is traveling like, I don't know, 68,000 miles an hour this way. So it's like 5 minutes of video targeting your location, and you can have that.
The James Bond on
the
watch.
I mean, if somebody launches, usually
show me right now.
Geostationary satellite that high up with the resolution you want, you can get live video. Like you can get live video right now from the the GOES satellite, the weather satellites, but the resolution is really terrible, right? But yeah, if there's a demand signal, somebody will put it up. Right? There just has to be a demand signal that, you know, is economic relative to your alternative.
You think Skyfi's ever gonna like go in that direction?
Well, I mean, we don't go in that direction, right? It's kind of like
They don't own anything.
we don't own any
They're not
satellites.
setting up satellites. They're not running drones.
Yeah,
They're the
like-
marketplace.
it's like-
They're going to take everybody else that's doing all the work and take their data.
Let's say there was
and
a
sell
Tesla
it.
limo. We don't care. If there's a Tesla limo, we'll put it on a platform. If people want to use a Tesla limo, and people will give you a Tesla limo, right? So somebody puts a geostationary video where like, that's cool, we'll put it on a platform and see if there's signal, right?
This is very cool. I was wondering when you first started it, how long did it take to break even and then actually turn into a scalable business?
Break even, scalable business. Are we breaking? So like,
Can you actually maybe just take a step back, because your story is a little bit unusual, and well, it's very unusual, but it's also honestly, it's something that doesn't usually work. I warned you. I was like, Bill, it's really hard to do this. I rarely see this work.
yeah. So
Because Bill had this idea, and he started building it, but he knew that he had other things to run and didn't want to run himself, so he had to find another partner.
So this idea was spawned out of, like, you guys gave a bunch of pitches where you had this frustration, this problem, anecdotally, right? And then you went and gave a business. This is very similar to Skyfi. I have a company called Synmax that does marine domain awareness and energy intelligence. It's an intelligence firm, and it buys a metric fuck ton of satellite data, right? And when we're testing to try and build the machine learning, we have to buy satellite data to train the AI, right? And I was flying around meeting people to buy satellite data. So I'm trying to spend $250,000 on satellite data, and why am I having to meet somebody in person? I can order everything from pizza to a car online. And during the meeting, I said, I really like you, but I don't understand why the fuck I'm sitting in Paris negotiating over satellite imagery. I said, I should be able to order this on my phone. And then at that moment, I said, I'll just do it myself. I was just so frustrated. I was pulling out my eyelashes, trying to get satellite imagery, and realizing they're difficult to do it. I said, I'll just do it myself. And so that
Which is one of the best ways for a lot of businesses to start.
That was the start of Skyfi inside Synmax. And then I talked to Josh, and he said, you can't have one company doing 10 different things. So we split that out of Synmax, and Skyfi was born as its own company to basically be the grocery store of satellite imagery.
What problems are you guys facing today?
In terms of
growth, what's the key hurdle?
I think it's customer education is the main thing, and price and frequency. So the first product market fit was having enough satellites on board and enough different sensors to meet everybody's use case, right? Ag companies, exactly. Getting to critical mass.
Enough that it's worth it for anybody.
Yeah, you can't be Uber with 2 Uber cars, right? You gotta have enough partners. So then once we got the partners, we started to get that flywheel. Okay, now you have this going on. Then we started realizing that our UX and our easification program. So we're really, I like to tell people, we are a user experience company that happens to be in geospatial imagery and analytics. And you should always think of that, because we are a customer first company, and we are a user experience company. And that means we make things easy for you to do, right? And other companies saw that, and they're like, oh, we can try and compete with them, or we can just get them to build it. And now Planet Labs, their customer-facing online store is ours. MaxR's is ours. I think Singapore's will be ours. The United States government on 2 different projects will be ours, etc. So that is what we really are. We are a user experience company, right? That happens to be in geospatial analytics because we think that will allow the average person to have a significant impact on the world in ways that we couldn't even dream of, right? Whether it be environmental, rescue, business, whatever, right? So back to your question is, how do we scale? We keep meeting the customer where they are and bringing them features. And so since we don't build satellites, we have to bang on people and say, one of our biggest fights was satellite companies wanted to sell 100 square kilometer box, 250 square kilometer box. We're like, listen, people don't go to the store and buy a bushel of corn. They buy a little pack. If you ever see a bushel, it's huge, right? That's how they wanted to sell it, right? They're like, no, you want to sell a pack of corn. And so we fought and fought and fought to get to a customer acceptable size, right? We're customer focused, right? And so every now and then again, as we go deeper and deeper into customer product market fit, user experience is better, the more the revenue goes up, and the more the breadth of the use cases go up.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. You run multiple businesses, you have a hedge fund, you have other companies, you have sci-fi. How do you manage your time effectively so that each company gets what it needs and it grows?
I fire myself. My favorite thing to do is fire myself. If you're going to have a mom and pop business, then you like a pizza place, right? Like you can be the guy that makes the pizza, you can be the store, you can do all those things. You run the delivery. But if you want to be Pizza Hut, you have to fire yourself, get out the way, and let other people do those things, and you focus on the strategic vision. So my favorite thing is when I get fired and somebody else who is a badass is doing the thing, right? A lot of people confuse ownership with actually doing the thing, right? And the main thing you want to do is be working on your business, not in your business. Because I know for sure I am not the best guy. I'm not the best CEO, I'm the best accountant, I'm not the best programmer, I'm not the best at any of that, right? But I do have the vision that I want to project, right? And I am good at enrolling people on my mission statement, and I get those killers to go execute. I just had a recent experience, give you some inside baseball, with a reorg inside our company. And they were like, did we do something wrong? I'm like, no, this is because of success. I says, when you first start a company, you're the only guys. You have to do that. You're the CEO, you're the accountant, you're the marketing guy, you're the web guy, you're writing the copy, you're doing all those things because you have to. And then as you grow, sometimes you keep doing that for too long instead of relinquishing control. And once you get from like 5 guys in a room to 100 people, are you really the right CEO? Should you really be CEO? Should you really be over here? It's an allocation of resources problem. And I was like, look, at the end of the day, you're on a basketball team. Do you want Steph Curry taking the winning shot or you? They're like Steph Curry. Then are you the fucking Steph Curry of CEOs? No. Are you the Steph Currys of CFOs? No. Then let's get the fuck out of the way and put people in who are, because we have a lot of our value and net worth wrapped up in this company. Let them take the shot so we can win. Right? You have to lose your ego and delegate.
No big deal.
What's that?
No big deal.
No big deal. Just lose your ego. I mean, that's going to be the key.
So I'll just have time for a few more questions. These have been great, and thank you so much, Bill. Yeah, any others? Last 2 or 3? Yeah. So when someone buys a photo from you, do they get that photo, or do they get a license of that photo? I guess in other words, I'm trying to ask like.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So each, you get it for your internal use. You can't resell it except for Umbra. It's a Creative Commons license with SAR. You can do whatever you want. You can resell it. You can make images. You can do whatever you want for our SAR providers. But most imagery providers, it's for your internal use, not for resale.
How about you? Can you license that photo or maybe that data from that photo to other people, maybe your own internal use case? Are you able to?
Can we? No, we have an archive that we can resell. Like people goes into the archive and resellers will get this of it. So you don't have to attach the satellite. You can go to an area and you can go to existing images.
Some people say they save all pictures, right?
Right. They come here and you can say what existing images were over this area that people think. Look, for $5.
Maybe you want to look over
For $5 per square kilometer.
You want to look historical, right?
I can look at historical images over here and I can click on this and I can see all the historical. So it'll pop up.
Days in the past year in this one spot.
Yeah, you can see samples and stuff like that. So like, you can now go to any area and see. When I click on this, you see the darker line shaded around it. I can't see it on the computer. Can you see that? That's the picture, the image of the historical image, and you can clip that down into like I think 1 square kilometer block. So you can take 5 square kilometers, $25, and you can get a historical image. And that one was taken on August 12th, 2024 at 99 centimeters optical image.
All right, I got a question for all of you. If you could take a picture right now, and Bill will send you an image of like anything, what would you take a picture of? Think about it. Raise your hand, shout it out.
Anybody have any ideas? Is there anything you want to fix up? What?
Well, I'm a senior, so I guess it's graduation in May.
Graduation?
Yeah, so remember, it's going to be 25 centimeter GSD, right? So you're going to see what's going
But
on.
you see the
and tens of
stadium,
thousands of
right?
people.
You see the
Yeah,
stadium.
you'll see the stadium filled.
So can we get a video of graduation?
You can get an image. I'll see if there's a video satellite going over. Yeah. Give me the date. I'm guessing it's got to be over that time. It's going to be max hour. We get max hour. And we'll probably get
All right, so send me an email with what, like, with the request, maybe we can get it. What else? What? Ice caps?
Sure. Optical with ice caps? Or synthetic caps or radar? Microwave image? Yeah, we can get that.
That'd be cool. And
North
look
or
at it
south?
over the time, right?
You want north or south?
I heard the ice caps are actually coming back.
Yeah.
All right, what else? Anybody?
I would think it's some natural environment because I think that's part of the biggest benefit of this is not having a roof right here. So I don't know what specifically, but I would think it's a natural environment.
How far back do the archives go?
Planet, I mean.
Can I get a picture of like my house when I grew up? Like where I grew up, when I grew up? And
No,
then
no, like you'd have to have a satellite that was orbiting that we get. There were satellites that were.
I'm kinda
we did-
old.
The
They're
United
like,
States
yeah,
government
50-year-old
owned those
satellite.
satellites and they didn't put them on our platform.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of satellites.
But I could go get a satellite picture of the place I grew up, right? And
Yeah.
like what it looks like now, what's all around it. That'd be kind of cool.
You get that.
Yeah. All right, Bill. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Bill, Bill really has nothing else to do. He's only running a couple other companies. He's got some kids. He's got one on the way, and he's writing books, and still has a lot of wakeboarding to do.
Whatever Josh wants.
So yeah, no, thank you so much. Probably tell everyone that comes here. Obviously, we really appreciate you spending your time with us, but we do. It means a lot, and for them to be able to ask you questions directly, interact with you directly is pretty awesome. So thank you. I'll say a few more things just to wrap things up. This is our last real normal class of the semester. Next week is our 1,000-day demo day competition. I'll tell you about how that'll work in just a minute. Then we'll have Thanksgiving break. That Capital Factory early access interviews was kind of a placeholder I put at the beginning of the semester, so it's probably not exactly the right words right now. But I'm thinking that will be, hopefully I'll figure out over the next week or two, whatever we end up deciding to do with the lab, that's really meant to be the interviews for the lab. Because that's where I was calling it early access. We'll see what we end up calling it. But I had a suspicion coming into the semester that we might need to call it something else or do something else. And to be honest, I don't know what you all think about this, but I'm very interested in making that accessible to other schools in the area, like UATX or using Tillotson or other places that would just bring in more interesting people that work on cool things. Hey, Jackie. So that's that will be kind of like after Thanksgiving. And so again, the class for next semester, the idea is to really build on what we did here, which Bill was actually, this in case it wasn't obvious, this was inspired by Gauntlet. Everything in Austin was really helpful and came and spoke at the beginning. Very similar kind of kickoff, targeting. This time people might have a better idea what they're signing up for. You all just signed up, and I told you the first day of class it was going to be a different class. So thank you for being my guinea pigs. But they'll be, they'll know what they're signing up for. It'll be for a significant amount of more credit. Every pitch will be graded. It won't just be thumbs up. Every pitch and build. And the idea being that you come in and probably do something like say, okay, first week build Signal, next week build TikTok, next week, and then okay, now start building your own things. And maybe we'll come up with some ways to get more ideas. If you have feedback, we're going to send a survey probably next week or soon, asking for feedback. It's really helpful. I'm going to go look and read it, all of the stuff that you say. This was the first time we did the class, so I don't know, I think I learned some stuff and know some stuff, but I can't read all your minds. Big boy, I can handle critical feedback and things. You can say that sucked or this was really good or that wasn't. Tell me what was really good. That makes me feel good too. Which speakers are really good. Help me think about if we're going to do this again, what makes it worthwhile. To reiterate, for me, what I was hoping to get out of this for you what I thought made this really interesting and maybe different compared to what we've done in the past. Not that I love what the stuff we've done in the past, but was this idea of really getting you what I call reps, like thinking from an exercise perspective, and being able to do something over and over again, which builds up your muscle, which builds up your reflexes, which builds up your ability to go do that. And with the startups, you know, a lot of times it actually is a skill you develop, and there are reps to it. And a lot of times the first thing you do doesn't work, you know, like, and maybe it wasn't that good of an idea. And to be honest, in running this class for like more than 15 years, I've seen lots of good ideas, I've seen lots of great students, and often not much of a connection between the two things. You know, like, great people maybe not working on a great thing, but like, I just, like, oh man, they banged their head against that for a long time, and maybe we could help them to get something better. And a lot of great ideas that maybe didn't get acted on. And my hope is that by getting people more kind of like feeling like, okay, I can have an idea, I can talk about it, I can communicate to other people, I can build a prototype, I can show it to other people, and I can do that in 2 weeks, which by the way is only going to get shorter, right? This wasn't even possible a year ago or 2 years ago. So like a year from now or 2 years from now, like this is going to go even faster. You're going to be able to do even more. And so, yeah, I mean, my hope is that you walk away from this class feeling like, yeah, like I can do stuff. Like I have an idea. Like I know how to talk about it. I can get other people excited about it. I can go show it to people and build something. And maybe that's not like the final thing you're going to go use, but like it's enough to get other people on board and get them excited about it. Or maybe, you know, over time it will be the final thing you go use. Like 3 years from now, like not that far. You know, like 5 years from now, for sure, you're gonna be like, ChatGPT, build me Slack. Like, it's gonna like, you know, spit out. So, so that's my hope for the class, and I'm trying to, you know, build on that with this. Again, and I'm hoping people are walking out with this experience, with this skill that they've built, this muscle for like, I can, you know, take these ideas and turn them into real things. And then maybe one of those things that you work on, one of those 5 that maybe you refine for the final, you come back and you're like, wow, now, okay, I've done 5 different things. I've seen 5 different things. That's the thing I really want to work on. Like, I'm going to go take that, and I'm going to try to get that at Capital Factory. I'm going to go try to go raise money for that. I'm going to go take that to Genesis. I'm going to go, you know, to freshman founders or to, you know, whatever else you might be working on. So that's my hope for the class. This isn't the last class, but I thought I'd just, you know, summarize a little bit there. So that's what we're offering for next semester. My plan is to still try to find a way to fulfill the gap of the lab. I'm still figuring that out. And then lastly, there is the, what? There's no slide. Okay. She's so good. She's always like 2 steps ahead of me. I'm like, lastly, she's like, no, there's no slide. Okay, but it is still the last thing. Lastly, is what's the assignment for next week for the... All right, do we have a slide? Okay, yeah. All right, we're good. So what's the assignment for next week? Yeah, there is the slide. It's not demo day. It's next week? Isn't next week demo day? Okay. Sorry for our little internal debate. Next week's assignment for demo day is to build, it's only going to be pitches. Or sorry, only be demos, no pitches. And I believe everyone, I'm told, if this is not true, you do not need to like raise your hand right now, but go talk to Anjali after. But I've been told that everybody that's been showing up to class has a thumbs up as of today. So if you don't, talk to them. That's a good thing. We're a pretty good spot. So that means everybody's passing. And there's a few people that have not been showing up that have to work on it. We'll have to work that out. Next week is about $1,000. If you wanna, I hope everybody does it. I will stay here as long as you guys do, but it has to be a build. You have to actually build something starting today. So between now and then, and you can build anything you want. You can recreate something you built before, and just like, but it should be like better. If you show me the same thing, I'm not gonna be impressed. You're not gonna win. You can also like go rebuild something cool and be like, I built my own version of TikTok, and like hopefully probably something like, and here's how I made it different or better or cooler, you know, or like, or here, I made Signal, or like, you know, and just show that like you could take something that you might use every day and make it really interesting. I didn't have time to put this together. What I kind of wanted to do, I'm sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. I wanted to make an assignment where we picked a chat protocol, like there's some common ones like Jabber or things like that, and basically everybody had to write their own chat app that we used it, and then we would all start a chat at once with everybody using their own different client that might do different things or work different ways. We're all in the same chat. I don't know if this is making any sense, but I didn't quite get there. But I had this vision for a really cool last project demo. What do you guys do there? So instead, this will also be really fun. But yeah, I think the idea is, now that you've seen what you can do, you've seen what everybody else can do, you could build Sky-Fi, right? Or something like it. Yeah, that's the project, and I'm going to come here with either $1,000 in cash or a full Venmo account, and someone will walk away with $1,000. So looking forward to next week. If you are worried about your thumbs up, talk to Anjali. And what else am I missing? All right, great, awesome. Thanks, everybody. Great night. Thanks, Bill.
That'll be fun. I'll try to compete. I'm out.
It's like, he's been working on this app for like 3 weeks, and it's not like perfect yet, so he's like, fucking.
That's what Susan was saying. He like almost keeps doing this.
It's for the last like 3 weeks, like all been done and then it's like, it's not even that, like the whole thing works perfectly. It's just like, you know the app, right? So it's basically.
He told me briefly. I'm trying to remember.
It's a startup ID generator, but it's like Tinder. So it'll. Okay, you gotta hear me out. It's not his idea, don't have it. But basically, it gives you like a startup idea and like a note card. You like swipe right if you like it, and start collecting it down. That's the idea. And basically, he didn't like the quality of the answers, the quality of like the startup ideas. So that's what he's been working on for like 2 years.
Well, you know what? Actually, I respect that a little bit.
He failed the class, but he really
I respect that. I respect the like.
But like, you need to stop
the what?
Oh shit! How many did you guys
today? Yeah, I was fixing my shit.
Yeah.
What was the idea? What was the idea? But that's literally just Tinder.
You get like a clearer image. Like it's like, oh,
so it's just like
it's like
very
blurred out.
inconvenient.
Yeah. Are you taking the bus?
We're going back to that.
We're taking the bus. We were done.
Okay, so
Or you take it.
the Uber's on my dad's. So,
Oh.
like, I'm not paying. I drop like $50 a gas. Well, everywhere I go, it's not on campus. And it's like, it's like black Excels too. Like, I get nice shit.
Can I pay you for it?
You want to ride home? Yeah.
Actually?
Well, where do you live?
I live by, well, where are you sitting? I live
It might be a little,
It may be a little
you can walk.
I think it's closer than just the
No worries. Okay, well, lucky, like, ever since, like, the behavioral stabbing, so I always said, like, no fucking headphones in. I'm like, I'm in, like, the very back row, like, the side one. Like, my shit's pressed up against the window. I'm not getting anything. Like, I'm not receiving.
Yeah.
It's looking like a 20-minute walk from, like, the I'm over, yeah. What's the walk like from here?
It's so fun. I mean, I live where it's like,
I don't know where it is. Oh,
it's like by Dome. By Dome.
Okay, we were looking this year because like you wanted to live next to the house, but some
Okay, I'm gonna grab myself. I'll be back.
And then we can do like, we do like an hour. Sometimes we do it will be home color. Yeah, like you can, I'm already thinking of ideas for the demo. Like first thing you can just do the fine sheet blind sneak and just show them, just shows everything. And then like you could do like another one, you could be like, you have like a preset that you be my co-pilot for like myself. And like it's just like replaces an entire company. An entire company goes away. Be my co-pilot for VS Code. All in one, all in one. Replace the AI agents. The AI agent to replace all agents. You don't need it. You don't need, okay, that's good, I like that. Let's do it though, let's do it. Bro, what if we partner with a third builder and split the price? Dude, 500's lit. I'm gonna spend all of that on food and chickens. I'm gonna pay off my credit card bill and I'm gonna keep spending on my credit card because that's the only thing I need. Okay, bro, I'm not gonna get toxic now. He's not here.
you started doing it? Yeah. You still got to do stuff.
Yeah. All the analysis out of it. And then do all the analysis, and then it'll be
It's too quick a time. Yeah. So it'll just make your life team. You're trying to see if the course is
So I clicked seven first.
So this is so one on two things we just have like so one we're trying to say one change CS section so that you can make this section. Nelly should be able to help us with demand. So that's a question. So we want them to look at it. Thank you. Yeah, my goal is anybody should.
Sweet. So I'm still working on lean, and I met a guy a couple months ago. He actually said, "What's up?" And it doesn't exist anymore. It's because of the thing a couple years ago. And he's been super helpful, kind of unofficial. And you're talking about being more official about it.
What's he giving you? Just the advisor?
Yeah,
I would say, is it for the? Yeah, one, first of all, you can look up something, or just like for advisor stuff. Yep. So that's a good thing. You're just like, hey, look, like here's the thing. It's like you can see that based on what you say, here's what I recommend. So I recommend this. Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha. But you think 5%?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Anywhere between 500 to 5,000, and so like, yeah, I'm ready to be any stage, like idea, they typically so like we're asking for 15 because they said we like funded but we're not running. You guys like, is this like too much of a risk? My co-founder, he doesn't fund it. And so we have an entry where we want to raise X million. It's like we've been working on this like 2 years. And so we've gotten on like 40 customer discovery calls. We pay for it. We haven't started. All of them. We have like we have mock-ups for the front end. I know.